there, deep divers. You guys have been wrestling with some really big ideas lately. Time, consciousness, even reality itself.
Right.
And we're going to take those fascinating concepts even further today in this deep dive.
Buckle up.
So you've been exploring the work of Chris, a self-described, are you ready for this, cosmic guide.
I love it.
Okay, so I know those titles can be a lot sometimes.
Yeah.
But stick with us. We're here to unpack his interview and just see what nuggets of insight we can uncover, together.
Absolutely. And what I find so intriguing about Chris is that he really dives headfirst into these concepts.
Mm-hmm.
And his core argument about time is a perfect example.
Okay.
He suggests that time as we typically perceive it might not be what we think it is.
Okay, unpack that for us. What does he mean? Time isn't what we think. Don't we measure it with clocks, calendars?
Yeah, right. A whole 9 yards.
That's the everyday experience of time, of course, yeah.
Right.
But Chris is proposing something far more radical.
Okay.
He's saying that time is not this external force dictating our lives.
Mm-hmm.
Instead, it's a product of our consciousness.
So time is all in our heads.
In a way, yeah.
It's a wild
thing. It is a wild thought, and it has profound implications.
Yeah.
Imagine this. If our perception of time is subjective,
okay,
influenced by our focus and awareness,
mm-hmm,
then our experience of time can actually shift.
Whoa.
Right? Think about those moments when you're completely engrossed in something you love.
Yes.
Time seems to fly by.
Totally.
That's because you're fully present. You're creating a flow of energy and information that Chris refers to as the ether. Hold on, the ether. Let's rewind for a second. What exactly is the ether in Chris's model?
It's really a fascinating concept. So imagine the ether as this invisible sea of pure potential.
Okay.
This dynamic energy field that underpins all of reality.
Okay.
Like the canvas upon which the universe is painted.
Okay.
Everything emerges from it. Stars,
yeah,
planets.
Wow.
Even us.
Okay, so it's not like the oxygen we breathe?
No.
It's more like an energy field?
Exactly. It's more akin to a field of pure possibility.
Okay.
And here's where Chris links it back to his ideas about time.
Okay.
He describes the ether as being directly influenced by our consciousness.
Okay.
By our focused attention. In his word, consciousness plus awareness equals time.
That's a pretty bold equation. So let me see if I'm getting this straight. Chris is suggesting that our very awareness, our ability to focus our attention, is actually shaping the fabric of this ether.
Yes.
And that, in turn, influences our experience of time.
Precisely.
Whoa.
It's a very radical departure from the idea of time as a fixed external force.
Right.
And what's even more intriguing is that Chris believes this interconnectedness between consciousness, the ether, and time extends even further into our very biology.
You're talking about DNA, right?
Yes.
I've always found it fascinating, this microscopic code that holds the blueprint for life itself.
Right, and Chris takes it a step further.
Okay.
He argues that our DNA isn't just a static blueprint.
Okay.
It's more like a dynamic library of our experiences constantly being written and rewritten by our thoughts, our emotions, and even our interactions with this etheric field.
Wait, so you're telling me that our DNA isn't fixed?
That's what he's proposing.
That it can actually change based on our experiences?
Yeah.
That's mind-blowing.
It is a very mind-bending concept.
Yeah.
And according to Chris, this is where things get really interesting.
Okay.
He suggests that just like we can upgrade software on a computer, we can actually upgrade our DNA by expanding our consciousness, challenging our limiting beliefs, and embracing new possibilities.
So how do we actually do that? How do we tap into this potential for upgrading our DNA, according to Chris?
That's where things get a bit more esoteric.
Okay.
Chris talks about the importance of recognizing limiting beliefs and consciously choosing to shift our perceptions.
Okay.
He believes that by tapping into the power of the ether, by aligning our thoughts and emotions with our deepest desires, we can literally rewrite our own biological code.
Okay, I have to admit, that sounds a little out there, even for me.
Sure.
But before we dive into the how of all this, let's talk about what these so-called upgrades actually look like.
Yeah.
What kind of changes are we talking about here? So we're talking about upgrading our DNA.
Yeah.
What does that even look like, practically speaking? Does it give us superpowers?
Well, I wouldn't expect to be flying or reading minds anytime soon.
Right.
But Chris's perspective is more about unlocking our latent potential.
Okay.
He describes these upgrades as like shifts in our consciousness, leading to very tangible changes in our lives.
Okay, so less about telekinesis, more about self-actualization.
Exactly. Chris points to things like enhanced intuition,
Okay.
a deeper connection to our own inner wisdom, even accelerated healing, this DNA upgrade process.
Wow.
He believes we all have this incredible capacity within us, just waiting to be activated.
It's a really empowering idea that we have more control over our biology, our realities than we might realize.
Yeah.
But Chris also talks about the Matrix.
Right.
That's where things get a bit more sci-fi, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, the Matrix is a loaded term, for sure.
Right.
But Chris isn't talking about a computer simulation like in the movies.
Okay.
For him, the Matrix represents the limiting beliefs, the fear-based narratives that keep our consciousness trapped.
So it's more of a mental matrix.
Precisely. It's the self-imposed limitations, the stories we tell ourselves that prevent us from really accessing our full potential.
Wow.
And according to Chris, these limitations are often reflected in our DNA.
So how do we escape this matrix, according to Chris?
He really emphasizes the power of conscious awareness.
Okay.
It's about questioning the narratives that no longer serve us, challenging those limiting beliefs that keep us playing small. And he suggests that as we raise our awareness, we can begin to influence our DNA, rewriting the very code that shapes our realities.
It sounds like a journey of self-discovery, really.
Absolutely.
A process of unlearning these old patterns, stepping outside of our comfort zones, and embracing new possibilities.
100%. And this is where Chris introduces some even more, I guess, controversial concepts. Things like walk-in experiences and connections with star families.
Okay, now we're venturing into truly uncharted territory.
I know, right?
For those of us who aren't familiar with these terms, can you break them down for us?
Sure. A walk-in experience, as Chris describes it, is when another consciousness kind of merges with your own.
Okay.
So it's a very profound shift in identity, often accompanied by a sense of purpose and a much deeper connection to something greater than oneself.
And star families.
So Chris believes that some souls originate from other star systems,
Okay.
coming to Earth to assist in our evolution.
Interesting.
He suggests that these star seeds, as they're sometimes called, often feel a deep longing for their home planet and a strong desire to help humanity kind of awaken to its true potential.
Now, it's important to note that these are some pretty extraordinary claims.
Yeah.
And while we're all for exploring different perspectives, it's also crucial to approach these ideas with a healthy dose of discernment.
Totally.
What resonates with you might not resonate with someone else, and that's okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Ultimately, the journey of exploring consciousness is a personal one.
Yeah.
Chris offers a fascinating roadmap.
Yeah.
But it's up to each of us to integrate these ideas in a way that feels authentic and empowering.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, what's the one key takeaway you hope our listeners will hold on to?
If there's one thing I hope you take from Chris's perspective, it's the understanding that you are not a passive bystander in the story of your life. You are a powerful creator, capable of shaping your reality in really profound ways.
That's a powerful thought to end on.
Yeah.
So to all our listeners out there, keep exploring, keep questioning, and most importantly, keep expanding your awareness.
Yes.
Your journey is just beginning.